real good ideas coming from reTyre on how to deal with this issue. Fuel and fuel cans, that's a separate issue, but if we can take care of the tires and at the same time produce seed capital to invest in our recycling program with the sales of our repurposed tires to our customers, then we really do have a kind of a fully, encompassed little ecosystem type business.
Yeah, and that's where the real value I see at the grassroots level comes in, and I think it was, I got it wrong. I had Andy on from Full Throttle or Challenge Karting on a couple months ago, and he's not the one that posted it. I think it was Rob Howden from EKN had posted it, where a number of teams or individuals left a bunch of tires behind at the end of a weekend, and when you go to like Andy's deal, so if it's challengekarting.com, or if it's a rock event, or if it's a SCUSA event, most of the people there are under the understanding you take the tires with you. So it's really disappointing at that level that tires are left behind. Even if your racing program is just writing a check, my kid's racing under a tent, not my responsibility. Well, whoever's cashing that check, they understand you pack the tires up. So it's real disappointing at that level. But then on the flip side, I've been really engaged with the local karting scene here in NorCal the past few years. And I see the post a couple times a year. Hey, people, don't put the tires in the dumpster. Don't do this. Don't do that. And as old, crusty veterans, the first reaction is, come on, you dumbass. You don't throw the tires in the trash. You can't do that. And then I got to remember, when I first got into karting, I didn't know you just don't leave your tires. It just is something you learn. And there's been kind of a growth with a couple of our local tracks where there's just brand new people, and they just don't know that you just can't dump your tires. And that's where I really see the benefit of reTyre for the local club. Like you said, we're working on a better system to have bins or some sort of a recapturing setup. So that way they don't go in the dumpster. They don't go in the landfills. They end up in our reTyre bins. And so if you're a track owner or you're a track promoter or you're on a board and you're interested in this program, reach out to me. It's norcalcarters@gmail.com, or I'm on Facebook. There's also reTyrecorp.com. Again, RETYRE corp.com. And let's have this discussion. How do we keep these old used tires out of the landfills? And just to be clear, the tires that are in the dumpster going to landfills, these are not the tires we're selling. These are the ones that people just pull off, throw in the dumpster because they know they can't throw them out at their house. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, we actually have some arrangements with major teams. We did I don't think it was not last year, but the year before, where we talked with all the major teams and said, "Hey, look, we will help you with your tire logistics." So these tires are heavy, Jason. Seriously, these one box. What's one box? Just one box.
One box of 7.1s is 11 pounds, 11 to 12 pounds.
No. One box of like brand new tires. Let's say a big Bridgestone box.
Oh, a case of tires?
When a case of tires comes in, these tires are heavy. Tom knows it. Andy knows it. The teams know it. And when you start packing these things in, they add a lot of weight.
Yeah, they're about 100 to 130 pounds per box.
Yeah, so it stacks up quick. And so these teams, they don't really, if they're a California-based team racing in Florida, are they going to want to bring 400, 500 pounds of tires back to California with it? It's another issue. These tires are just not born and bred in California. They're coming from other states for bigger races, and they're plopping down, and that's every track's issue. And so the arrangement we had was, we'll take all your tires, or we need to take all of them. We need to take all the good ones. We need to take all the bad ones. And 70% of them 70 to 80%, they don't qualify to be rerun. Yeah, you could do more laps on them. They could last 3 or 4 more sessions, but we don't want those. We want a good, high-quality product for our customers to do a day of driving at the track. No matter how abrasive the track is, the tires need to last. So our newest sets get compressed, they get wrapped, then they get wrapped in a second plastic wrap, and then put into a cardboard box. And it's like you said, Jason. It's labeled. It's nice. It's a real product. So for our tracks, it can be a display. It's good enough to put on display. You know how you can go into the supermarket, you see all the Coke, Sprite, or Coors, Bud Light. They put these big stacks and they turn them into all kinds of shapes and decorative things in supermarkets. You sort of do that with these. It's a good bulk item for tracks and shops to stack up, and it's like something everyone can use that can come into the door. Whether they drive a CRG or a Tony kart or a Burrell or a Vimy kart or a Track Magic or a GFC, they all run the same tires, and everyone needs tires. So
yeah, that's a great
point. Affordable option.
That's a great point when it comes to the boxing and the packaging, how it's for the shop owners out there, or even a local racer. If you're a local racer and you're looking to kind of supplement your racing income, reach out to us, because we're setting up dealers everywhere, and it is actually its own display. That's a great point.
Yep. Yeah, it sells itself. It's got a good look. It's got a clean logo. Focused really hard on all the fit and finish, and we're going to keep getting better in the years to come. It's just the more tires we sell, the more seed capital we have to turn back around and reinvest in the business. Like you said, these programs that we have in our minds and on the storyboard right now, that where we want to see reTyre be in 3 or 5 years or even 10 years. What's the purpose of reTyre after we've got all the tires taken care of? So new, better ways, new, better technologies, more efficiency in capturing these tires and transporting, finding the right distributors and centers that we can work with on the sales side as well as on the recycling side, because that's also really important. Find good partnerships throughout the country. In the West Coast, I was the first one that had a recycling center set up in the Monterey area, in fact. So it's not too far off of NorCal. And, it's been really successful. I was really surprised by what technology has advanced in recycling rubber. It's we've got all these tires. So we've got the raw material. How do we get it to the recycling center? So that's another step in the reTyre business plan, is to figure out a sustainable way, financially and ecologically, to keep a hold of these tires and get them processed wherever they need to go, whether they need to go back on a go-kart or they need to go and be a racing mat that go underneath the car stand or something else entirely.
Yeah, and if you're one of those guys out there, I see it all the time on some of the different forums and Facebook threads. If you do not need a good quality tire, if you need just a go-kart tire because you're building a stand or something like that, reach out to us. We could cherry pick the tires for you, and you cover the cost of shipping, because it keeps us from having to dispose of them. But all we're going to ask is you don't throw them in the garbage can when you're done. But if it's on a rolling stand, it probably won't end up in a garbage can. You've really hit on the reclaiming part of the program. You've already hit on the tire. The company is reTyre, reTyre, Corp, Corp.com. But and you've already said, no, this is not a retread, this is not a recap. It's an actual tire. We haven't really said what tires you offer. I know for a fact I have in my possession, I have Evenco Reds, I have Evenco Blues, I have Bridgestone YLRs. What else do we currently have in inventory at the different warehouses?
At different warehouses, we've got some limited selections of LeConte tires, Vega. We've got a small selection of rain tires, because that's also, people will drive when it's wet too, and don't necessarily want to waste a new set. Usually people have used sets stacking around, but just for your listeners to remember, it's also important to wrap your rain tires too, because rain tires can get hard as well. They need to be as soft as possible when you're racing, so keep that in mind. Keep them out of the sun, keep them wrapped up, and keep them out of oxygen as much as possible. So with that said, I think, you covered the major brands. MG, we have MG reds and yellows.
Okay.
Yeah, and we also have a full selection of Mojo tires. So D2s, D5s, D1s for the cadets. So all the way from kid carts to full-blown shifters, to the IME 175. We've got a tire for you. That's not a concern. It's our biggest concern was getting tires moved around and accessible for our teams and for our tracks. And as our dealership network grows, it's going to be a whole lot easier. We already have kind of like a nationwide, kind of like a rotational shipping network. So basically like every couple of weeks, there's going to be tire availability in your area. So if you're a track or a dealer looking to do this, we have figured out, loosely, how to solve the shipping issues. So we can make shipping very affordable right now for tires, and that is a big concern, whether they're new or used or anything. Heavy items that regularly get shipped, reducing that shipping cost and making things more efficient for our customers is what we're all about, and I think we've solved that. And we tried it with you, Jason, was last week. So we got a truck over to Nevada and got things dropped off with you. Got things dropped off with another client. So it did work. It does work, and the tires make all the drivers happy. And if these tracks, if they invest in the program and if they experience no success after a couple months, we'll pick them up and we'll take them back, and I'll personally buy them back from them. I'm that confident in, especially with the Indigo Blue and the Indigo Red, the MG Yellow, the MG Red, and the Bridgestone. All these tires, if they don't move off, we'll just simply buy them back from them. It's not a problem. You just got to make a little bit of an effort, put them on display, tell your customers about them, or if you're a racer yourself, experience them yourself, and then tell your friends about the tire and have them try it once. And I've done this about 150 times, and I've had one person not like the tires as a cadet driver, kind of looking for a set that pretty much looked brand new. And I said, well, these are tires that have been on the track technically. So if there's a little dot on it or something, a little imperfection, purposes, it's to get you on the track, get you doing lap times within 3 or 4 or 5 tenths of a brand new set of tires. So if it serves that purpose, then this is a successful formula. And like I said, out of all these hundreds of people I've been working with, only one has not really been that happy. But I think eventually he came around and ended up doing more sets later on as well. So
yeah, no, I've been very happy with it. I load my truck up with him when I go to the track, and earlier you talked about the box as its own brand. So I've been able to load them up. I just put them up next to my truck and my tables at the swap meets, and I just keep selling sets. And I have other swap meters that now call me ahead of time and say, "Hey, are you going to bring some tires out?" And they'll walk up to me right away and say, "Hey, I want them. Set them aside for me. I want them." And because people see the value in a good quality tire to save the local club guy or the weekend warrior money.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have these YDS tires, these YBN Bridgestones that would last all year. These tires go a day. Let's just be honest about it. They go pretty much a day. In many of our cases, Jason, with your experience, it's going to go half a day because you're going to use the tires a bit harder. So just keep in mind what you're purchasing. You're purchasing a good substitute to a brand new set of tires, and keeps you on the track, saves you money every month, And on the track side, like I said, it gets the racers to the track.